Howdy all, Lex Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. Whew, that's what I thought I was doing on Monday. Uh, yeah, so I missed last episode. There's no videos earlier in the week. But everybody here came down with well, not everybody, I guess, but half the people here came down with some stomach flu. I unfortunately was one of the stomach flu recipients. Was not pleasant. Not pleasant at all. Alright, so where we left off here, you're... Forged iron. I'm just gonna dump you in here for now. Let's go see if I can't get some more feathers. Oh, that's helpful. I am sans arrows at the moment, although with those 15, right, I should be going ahead. Whoa, not crossbow bolts. I'd love to make crossbow bolts, but until we get what do I gotta have to make the crossbow? I think I gotta have a workbench, right? Crossbow. No, that doesn't take a workbench, does it? It does not say a workbench, so I just need glue. Crap. Cancel that. Cancel that. Don't be wasting my crossbow bolts on stupid old arrows. I don't know what the difference is. I just prefer the crossbow. That said empty when I went to click on it. I don't know why I clicked on it anyways, but I did. So while I'm looking for feathers here, I guess we could talk about some of the shows I've been watching since last episode. I finally sat down and watched the first season of The Magicians, which was really good. I read the books and thought they were mediocre. They pretend they want to be awesome, but okay. Now remember, my opinions are my opinions. So some people might think they're the absolute best thing ever. Like, some people think Twilight's the absolute best thing ever. I, on the other hand, think that they're weak with no plot resolution. I mean, it's there, but it's always from after the fact story and never in the moment, which drives me crazy. I feel like the whole point of a story is to lead you to that final moment, right? I'm out of stamina. And I hope that's not my stomach. Well, this guy is taking a lot of hits. Oh, crap. Finally. And so they're really good at... Okay, when I say really good, I'm like... You feel the suspense in the book, even if the story's not necessarily the greatest. You feel the suspense in the book leading up to that final confrontation with whatever the bad guy's going to be. But then the main character always is missing from that final confrontation, or the final confrontation doesn't happen. And that disappoints me when I'm reading a book. It'd be like, I don't know. I was trying to think of something recent that I've seen. It'd be like, okay, I went and seen King Kong, right? And so, spoilers, I guess. King Kong ends with a big monster fight. And so I kind of felt like the Twilight books all ended with, oh, and you knew, and King Kong saw as the, you know, main monster rose up from the depths to confront everything that's going on. And oh good, that took all my arrows that I accidentally made. And Samuel Jackson was there to confront King Kong as well. And King Kong, well, I don't want to give too much spoilers, but you know, King Kong is getting ready to fight the final beast, and Samuel Jackson's there also trying to fight King Kong, and the other two main characters are sort of romantically involved at this point, and the ultimate bad guy creature, what are they called? Skull crawlers, I think is what they call them, pulls up out of the ground and comes for King Kong. And then, since it's all from the point of the view of the two main characters who aren't King Kong, they get in the boat and leave while the fight's happening. And someone comes along later and is like, "Oh yeah, they fought, and y'all lived happily ever after." And yeah, and you're like, "But I wanted to see the fight." Anyways, I don't know how I got off on that tangent. But the Magician books are possibly you may have read the book The Catcher in the Rye, which I hate immensely. I own a copy. I occasionally read said copy because I forget how much I hate it. And I just have to remind myself, because it's a small book, doesn't take very long to get through it. I have to remind myself that there are people out there that consider that one of the greatest books of all time. And I have to remember that I disagree with most people's opinions. Well, not most people, but people who think Catcher in the Rye is the greatest book of all time. So I saw the first pilot episode of The Magicians. Sci-Fi Channel did a weird thing I don't think they'd ever done before, or if they had, I'd never actually participated in it, where they showed the pilot episodes way before the season came out. And so I watched the pilot episode of The Magicians, and it was awesome. Ooh, yeah, I need this guy right here. The Magicians is basically adult Harry Potter mixed with Narnia. So it's about Magic College, and it follows a group of friends. I don't think they're actually friends, but a group of people who are together, forced together into a group by the college, basically. I don't think there's really much of a point where at least two of the group don't hate other members of the group, and it varies who hates who. But it's pretty good, the show, and the I like the bad guy, although he kind of takes a backseat a bit to some portions of the show. And they changed some stuff from the book a little bit. Well, a lot, I guess, here and there. But things I was expecting to happen didn't happen in the way I thought they were going to happen, and I'm not sure if I like the changes. But anyways, it's pretty good. So it's it's Narnia-like in the fact that there's a magic world, and there are books about the magic world, and it's about these kids who went through a closet or a clock or a phone booth. The entrance changed, and the main-ish character. Uh, I don't think they touch on it as much on the show as they do in the book, but the one girl, Julia, was really into them, and he was into her, and so he got into magic because of her. Only magic, as in sleight of hand tricks, and he really became obsessed with the Fillory books. Aw, I was hoping there'd be a workbench in here for me. And so there aren't even like... That's dumb. I thought this was a garage. This isn't a garage. Never mind. And so he becomes obsessed with Fillory because of her urgings and his, desire to do whatever it is she wants. And then she gets over it. But he's still obsessed with it now, and so then she looks down on him because he's obsessed with magic. And that's kind of how it starts. And she just wants him to be like a normal person now, even though he's, kind of obsessed with basically Narnia. And so they go to their college interviews, and on their way to their college interviews, they get abducted by this magic school called Breakbills because they both can do magic. They don't know it, but they can, and they probably have, but didn't know they did. And so he gets in, she doesn't, which sets off the whole thing. But they're having problems with this thing that lives in Fillory called the Beast. And they're all afraid of the Beast. And so if the Beast wants to kill this kid and his group of friends for unknown reasons at the start of the show. And so it's pretty good. I really liked it. And I'm on the second season now, which for me the first book and the first season are probably going to be the best. Because I feel like the story didn't know where to go after the first book. And although it could surprise me, I had issues. Oh, that's always disappointing when you open a crate and there's nothing in it. I had some problems with the book. I mean, not problems, but I didn't like the books as much as I thought I would after watching the show, because they're kind of a mix of Catcher in the Rye, as in Quentin hates himself, and most of his story is about how Quentin hates himself and can't be bothered to do anything. And I find that just as annoying in this as I did in Catcher in the Rye. At least there's other things going on that force him to act, whereas Catcher in the Rye is a book about a guy who hates himself and doesn't want to do anything, if I remember it correctly. Oh, I thought you were a chicken. You're a stupid zombie on the ground. I could use some glue. Isn't there... I don't have a beaker. I need a beaker or some glue. One of those two things has got to happen. So yeah, so they travel back and forth between the real world and the magic form of the real world. I mean, it's like Harry Potter. You know, so there are magicians all over the place. Just normal people don't notice, and like their college is hidden and stuff like that. And there's magicians all over the world, and the fun thing in this though is that there are different disciplines of magic. So there are different types of magic users versus, you know, what you see in the Harry Potter where everybody's basically just the same thing and they're just learning spells. These people have actual gifts, and so like their main characters, like most of the main characters are what they call physical kids, in that they do physical forms of magic. They change physic things. Oh, dude, I didn't expect you to get so close so fast. But then one of the characters is a psychic? Where did that zombie go? Why are you moving so fast? Doesn't matter now, you're dead. Oh, man, you were worth killing, though. You had a lot of stuff on you. I should probably eat and drink. Oh, he's not a psychic either. He's a traveler. That's kind of a spoiler. Sort of. But they're all screw-ups, and they basically just ruin everything they touch. And, oh, you know, I've got meat on me. That's probably not helpful. And, I just want some glue, game. Man, you want glue, you're never gonna find it. You don't need glue, you bring back like 9 bottles of it. Ooh, cooking pot. Somebody had a leaky sink. I saw a stairway down, I think, somewhere, right? There's a stairway up. Didn't I see a stairway? Yeah. Oh, man. Underwater, in the dark. I think I'll come back when I have some lights. I can barely... Wait, don't I have a flashlight? Does my flashlight work in the... I should probably equip said flashlight. It does. Bloop. No. Bloop. But yeah, so I watched the first season of that. I'm a couple of episodes into the second season. I don't particularly remember what happens in the second season. I vaguely remember there's something about keys. I don't know if that's the second season, though. there's 3 books, and I've read all 3 of the books, and so I don't know. That was a fun one, and then the other one I have been watching is I want to say it's a Portuguese show that totally says it's unlocked. It's got oh that was weird. It's got English subtitles. No. Glue. There it is. I can make my crossbow. Time to go make a crossbow. Um, it's got English dubbing, which is a little weird because their mouths don't match the words. I really want to say it's Portuguese. Look, I only speak English, and I don't know what they're speaking. And it's dubbed in English, so that doesn't help. So maybe if I could hear them talk, I probably can't recognize the difference between Portuguese and any other of the uh, romantic languages. I think they're all related, right? Um, but it might not be Portuguese. Spanish? Those countries are right next to each other, so that doesn't help. Uh, I mean, they're different countries, but for me trying to remember, I know it's not French, which is also right in the same general area. Um, or Italian. It's not Italian. So, hey, he's like, I hear you needed feathers. But that one's been pretty good so far. I wouldn't say it's as good as The Magicians, but I've been enjoying it. It's whatever happened, the world collapsed. You know what's crazy is maybe it's something from South America. I could be totally wrong. This isn't my base. I don't know why I came here. I need to go over there. Glad I did, though. Got that. That's not where I need to go either. It is where I need to go. It's the other side of this building. It's not you, it's the bar. I gotta go to the bar. But world civilizations collapsed, and people live in horrible, poverty basically. And there's I don't know what's going on with the rest of the world, but they're in a city, and then near the city is this modern building that's on the edge of the ocean, and it's the testing facility for um, the testing facility for the island, the the I'm gonna call it the island. I don't know if it's the island. I'm gonna call it the island. And so every year they test everyone who's turned 20, I think. At least that's what I've gathered from the show. Oh yeah, I need the this. Okay, here we go. Crossbow. Oh. Seriously? Crossbow. It's probably going to be terrible, too. Eh. Oh, there's no room in the queue. Dang it, I need room in my queue. You know, while we're doing this, I'm going to go get some water. All the water is way... Look at all these houses with water. It's a lot of houses with water. And, oh, I didn't want to hide. I wanted to run. So, they bring them all into the building. And it's a massive building. And I think a lot of it might be underground. And they test them. And so they bring them in, and they go through an interview process. And if you fail, you live in the poverty-stricken mainland. And if you succeed, you go on to the next test. And so this time things are different, though, because for the first time in the history of the island, I really don't think they call it that, but I can't remember what it's called. For the first time in the history of doing this, a murder has occurred on the island. And they've been doing it for hundreds of years, I think. And so they are very nervous about this year's selection because it was a mainland candidate who did the murder. And so they want to make sure, because the testing has never brought them a murderer before. And they haven't shown why there was a murder or any of that. It has nothing to do with that as far as I can tell. It's all about the testing. And so not only that, but there's an organization who is fighting against the testing. And they... I've got a crossbow. Man, I am one decent light source away from being good to go. With this flashlight, though, I should be able to test things. So, let's, oh, you know, I've got some water already done up in here, and I got a little bit of meat. I got four fuel here. Holy crap, I'm on fire. I'm on fire. I've set myself on fire. That wasn't good. Yeah, so like the first one they went through was interview, and then the second one was I don't know if I remember. I've watched several episodes. I gotta get some more wood. I used up all my wood making arrows. I need a tree. There's a tree. And there might have been another one in there. I remember they go through a scanner at one point to scan to see if they're healthy. One of the candidates, it follows one group of candidates. First, there's just hundreds of them, and then they're brought down into a smaller, more manageable. This is our cast for the show group. And one of them's in a wheelchair, and so they, you know, he of course failed the physical scan, but when they took him to their medic doctor person, they did something that brought feeling back to his legs, and so if he succeeds, he can go be a member of the island and get the tests or get the treatments to bring back the feeling to his legs so he can walk again. And oh, there's an organization that wants to overthrow the whole thing, the process, because they kind of worship the process. And they've never even shown the island, so you don't know what life is like on the island either. The candidates just imagine what they think it's like. And yeah, it's been pretty good so far. First test was an interview. Second test was either the body scan, or they sat them in a room and made them make cubes out of shapes. And if you didn't make 9 cubes in the time that was allowed, then you failed. And they did a test with they did a test with levers was the last one I watched, which turned into Lord of the Flies moment where a group of them tried to take over. They basically put them in a storage store, off-site storage. I can't think of what they're called. You know, where they got all the little lockers with the pull-down doors that you can put your stuff in and you rent them. And they had to solve the puzzle to get food, and then they stopped giving them food. They changed the puzzle, or just withheld food. One of those two things. And oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty sure I put way more water in there than that. And oh, there was another one where they had to, because they're all focusing on different things. So like, the first one was the interview, and then there was their physical health, and then there was their spatial reasoning, and then they did their deductive reasoning. They had to take a look at a dinner scene and figure out what had happened as a group. They tested whether or not they could overcome fear. They had to go through a tunnel being filled with some kind of gas that made you have hallucinations based on your deepest fears. And everybody had to make it through. They're basically at the group passes or no one passes point. And although they got to be getting down from that because only 3% of applicants are supposed to make it through. Although, I guess technically if only one group made it through, they might be 3%. But yeah, it's been pretty interesting so far. It's called 3%. It's on Netflix. Alright, with that, click like if you like, subscribe, share, and catch the next one. I will talk to you later.